The cycle of the day inches toward completion, characterized by satiated bodies and minds swept completely clear of anxiety. The sweet, heavy smoke from a carved pipe intertwines with the fading campfire, serving as a long, collective exhalation. A profound, philosophical calm wraps around the clearing, heavily insulating the group from the chaotic theater of the wetlands. The explosive violence of the river is left entirely behind, carried neither in their posture nor in their quiet conversations. There is no lingering trauma here, survival is stripped of its dramatic weight, leaving only the pristine reality of existence. The wild is revered as a formidable provider. It demands absolute respect in the field but casts no emotional shadows in the home. A flawless equilibrium is achieved, balancing the deadly ecological demands with a serene, unshakable internal harmony. The ambient light begins to dip below the tree line, drawing an ancient, shadow-woven curtain across the serene campsite. In the heart of the fading coals, the powerful, resonating rhythm of enough echoes softly through the gathering dusk. It is a portrait of a timeless existence, completely unburdened by tomorrow, entirely and beautifully consumed by the present. The psychological metamorphosis from the razor-sharp apex predator back to the grounded, communal soul is flawlessly complete. The murky, dangerous waters and the snapping jaws are rendered into mere ghosts, banished by the warmth of the community. Only the essential truths remain: the crackling fire, the sustaining hearth, and the unbreakable circle of the people. This quiet transition stands as a remarkable testament to humanity's oldest, most resilient emotional cadence. It is the silent, profound mastery of knowing exactly when to wage war, and exactly when to let the peace flow in. The day concludes, its tensions perfectly dissolved and resolved, leaving the tribe enveloped in the quiet, absolute sanctuary of the dark. The narrative opens not with chaos, but with the deceptive, muddy calm of the water's edge, where the heavy, unpredictable power of the hippopotamus commands the shallows. Between the reeds, the damp earth holds a story of quiet peril, the smooth, sinister slide marks betraying the presence of a hidden, ancient reptile. Moving through the sun-baked scrub, the atmosphere is heavy with consequence, every footfall an exercise in reading the silent warnings of the African wetland. Nearing the liquid threshold, the air cools, thick with the scent of stagnant water and the unseen eyes of apex predators waiting in the murk. Barely visible ripples disturb the glassy surface, a subtle hint that the river's depths harbor a lethal, armor-plated patience. The psychological standoff begins, a delicate dance on the razor's edge between becoming the hunter and becoming the prey. Navigating the thorny perimeter requires an absolute mastery of self, shedding fear for an icy, calculating focus. Massive jaws yawn wide in the current, a territorial display that underscores the sheer volatility of this aquatic arena. A silent assessment unfolds, reading the minute shifts in the current, the rustle of dry grass, and the heavy breathing of the colossal beasts. An armored leviathan momentarily breaks the surface, revealing the immense scale of the danger lurking just beneath the muddy veil. The presence of young hippos adds a fierce, unpredictable maternal instinct to an already highly pressurized ecosystem. Time seems to stretch, thick and viscous, as the observers become perfectly still, blending into the surrounding scrub. The sheer mass of the grazing behemoths serves as a stark reminder of the fragile line between control and catastrophe. A low, slow emergence on the bank, the crocodile offers a fleeting silhouette, a momentary vulnerability in its armored defense. Standing at the convergence of two distinct terrors, the human element becomes a quiet, assessing shadow. There is no rush, no surge of reckless adrenaline, only the profound, calculated patience that ancient survival demands. The reptile clings to the safety of the shallows, refusing to concede its tactical advantage, stretching the standoff into an enduring test of will. With deliberate, ghostly precision, the stalkers shift their angle, seeking an opening in the impenetrable natural fortress. A sudden, explosive churn of water from the herd fractures the silence, a chaotic symphony of raw, untamed power. Out of the aquatic chaos, the specific target shifts, forced momentarily out of its element by the heavy disruption of the pod. The window of opportunity opens, a split-second intersection of vulnerability and lethal, honed intent. The strike is delivered, a silent, kinetic release that meets the thrashing resistance of prehistoric muscle. There is no triumphant cry, no celebration of conquest, it is merely a dangerous equation solved, a necessary harvest concluded. The heavy, metallic tension of the riverbank begins to recede as the focus shifts from the strike to the extraction. Leaving the volatile waters behind, the rhythmic, grounding cadence of the homeward trek begins. The landscape softens as the distance from the river grows, the sharp edges of survival smoothing into the familiar embrace of the bush. Returning to the sanctuary of the camp, the lingering adrenaline of the wetland completely dissolves into the dry, sunlit air. An ancient ritual commences with the gathering of brittle branches, a slow invocation to summon the purifying heat of the fire. Friction meets tinder, and a solitary spark is born, a fragile glowing embryo nurtured by patient, measured breaths. Wisps of gray smoke curl upward, carrying away the ghosts of the river's chaos, replacing them with the grounding scent of burning wood. The crackling flames bloom, their steady, rhythmic warmth acting as a profound psychological reset for the returning hunters. Tools and blades move with an unhurried, meditative grace, preparing the harvest devoid of desperation or frantic hunger. The division of labor unfolds like a silent, generational choreography, where every movement holds a quiet, inherent purpose. As the meat meets the rising heat, a sensory alchemy occurs, transforming raw survival into the comforting promise of sustenance. The metallic ring of the cooking vessel and the hiss of the fat weave a symphony of safety into the afternoon air. A profound stillness blankets the gathering, a collective exhale that washes away the earlier, razor-thin margins of life and death. The hearth becomes the absolute center of the world, radiating a gentle energy that mirrors the internal balance of the tribe. The harsh, primal reality of the wetland is fully eclipsed by a soft, anchored feeling of communal security. Waiting for the meal is not a test of endurance, but a restful, restorative pause in the eternal cycle of the day. Hands stir the bubbling broth with deliberate care, ensuring the elements melt slowly, honoring the gravity of the harvest. The heavy silence of the hunt is replaced by the comforting, ambient hum of life, the rustle of leaves and the low murmur of shared presence. The rich, complex aroma of the roasting meat anchors the senses, a tangible reward for the morning's calculated risks. As the preparation reaches its zenith, the pacing remains remarkably calm, fiercely resistant to the rush of modern consumption. The steady simmer of the pot speaks of absolute provision, a gentle cadence that banishes the unpredictability of the wild. The transition to the feast is seamless, an organic unfolding of community gathering around the glowing embers. The first taste is taken thoughtfully, a slow, sensory acknowledgement of the earth's harsh, yet sustaining, benevolence. There is no hoarding, no frantic ingestion, the nourishment is absorbed deliberately, replenishing bone and spirit alike. The physical space around the fire feels inherently sacred, a sanctuary completely insulated from the anxieties of the unknown. Each shared portion becomes an unspoken communion, a quiet reinforcement of the bonds that ensure their collective survival. The youngest members mirror this deep tranquility, internalizing the profound peace that follows the storm of the hunt. Radiating heat from the white-hot coals loosens the tight coils of muscle, allowing a deep, physical relaxation to take hold. The atmosphere is thick with grounding energy, a stark, beautiful contrast to the electric tension of the muddy riverbank. Flavors earned through immense patience and steady nerve are savored, each bite a testament to their mastery of the environment. A unified rhythm emerges, a communal heartbeat synchronized by the passing of the bowl and the sharing of the fire's warmth. The act of eating transcends basic necessity, elevating into a collective meditation on the present moment. The unhurried grace of the elders sets a tone of timelessness, a rhythm unbroken by the demands of the ticking sun. This shared feast acts as a psychological anchor, keeping the mind firmly rooted away from the shadows of future scarcity. A collective quiet reflection settles over the camp, rendering the morning's lethal encounters into a distant, almost forgotten dream. As the afternoon wanes, the light softens, painting the dusty earth and the resting figures in hues of warm gold. The rhythmic sound of cracking bone and slow chewing blends into the ambient noise of the surrounding, peaceful bush. An aura of unspoken gratitude permeates the smoke-scented air, a silent thanks to the wild that provided. The dying embers pulse with a subdued, resilient glow, a perfect reflection of the tribe's enduring, unbreakable spirit. Every morsel is equitably divided, showcasing a societal architecture built entirely on mutual reliance rather than individual gain. The final remnants of the harvest are carefully consumed, absorbing the very essence of the ecosystem into their being.